You're listening to another Geek Pride podcast.
Hi everybody, Matt Geary for Geek Pride here for another Geek Pride cast, and I have the pleasure to have three other Geek Priders with me. I've got the beardy Beardington, Mike Orvis.
That was awful. Hello.
We have the other beardy Beardington, Sean Wallace.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
That was
Do you know what?
Matt.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Why do we let you do this?
I don't know. Because
Right, move the fuck
do you know,
over.
Do you know why we let me do it? Because your internet always breaks, and Mike Orvis is Mike Orvis.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You know what it means.
No, I don't. No, I don't know what that means.
I'll cry.
I am hurt and offended and hurt.
And we have Dave Foy as well.
Hello, how's it going?
Okay, right. So yeah, you guys can do it now. You do the intro.
You want me to do the intro?
You do the intro then. Yeah.
All right, fine. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek Pride podcast. We have a show lined up for you that is going to be almost as big as the nuclear fallout from Trump's presidency. That's right, we have got three incredible guests, and your host, as always, is me, the legendary beard, Mr. Mike Orvis. We have our fearless leader, Mr. Matt Geary.
Hi.
We have, if you're going to be that low energy, that's why the podcast is going to suck. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's on you.
Come on.
That's
Well,
on
you know what? I didn't want to make your intro better than it should be. Okay. If
We have our very own version of the QI Elves. It's Mr. Sean Wallace.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a man that I met all of 5 minutes ago. He's a mystery, wrapped in an enigma. Who is he? What does he do? What's his favourite type of toast? We might find these things out later. It's David Foy.
Hello, how's it going?
See, that's how you do an intro to a podcast.
That was impressive. That was
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was impressive. We were going to go through the whole thing.
Are we actually going to
doing it
discuss
one
Trump in
each.
the
No,
during the podcast?
no. See, Sean, he's got to do his because he's going to blow us all away now. Come on, Sean.
Go on, John.
Come on, Sean. Let's do it. Number 3.
Number 3.
Don't call him a number 3. I don't know what that even is.
What? I'm pretty sure
it's
that's
got
going to be
to be
jizz.
semen.
I reckon
Is that a
it's got to be
wank?
semen. Yeah, it's got to be semen.
Just straight away. Like, Mike, I can't believe you didn't know what that is. All three of us immediately went, well, number 3 is clearly ejaculate. Come on.
This
Get
is
with
a
times.
weird intro to the podcast, Sean, if I'm honest.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ejaculation Podcast. My name is Sean Wallace.
I'm under a sheet.
He literally is, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Wallace is literally under a sheet.
The
I literally
boogeyman's
am.
trying to get him, and he thinks what he doesn't see won't get him. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Babadook is hiding.
He has learned not to we'll talk about the Babadook in a minute, because that film made me laugh and rage. Sean has learned not to sleep with his foot outside the covers, because if you do, the demons will get you. That's how they get you.
Like in Paranormal Activity, where they grab her and then drag her off.
Yeah, exactly.
That
The
shit.
Babadook's a fucking dumb film. I'm just going to put that out there. I know everyone heralded it as being incredible, but for real, it's a dumb film.
So,
It's
it's
shit.
been nice knowing you, Mike. You can fuck off. So
The Babadook's an awesome. The Babadook's an
It's
awesome.
Oh, the
Amazing.
Babadook's incredible. No,
it's an
Paranormal
incredible
Activity shit.
film.
Paranormal Activity is awful.
Do you know what? I actually quite like Paranormal Activity.
Well, you would.
Just-
You take
only-
gym selfies
only
and you
for
like
that
a cheeky
bit.
Nando's. So.
Only for that bit where she literally gets dragged out of her bed and trailed down the hall.
We'll just watch Wreck or Quarantine then for
Yes.
a better version of that shot.
There's one shot, I think in part 3, there's one scene that I think is pretty decent, but the rest of the films are just terrible. It's the one where it's like the tracking camera in the third movie, where the sort of sheet, there's like, you think it's a child under a sheet.
Yeah.
Quite apt to this podcast, but yeah, and it's like creeping up behind the girl who's studying, and as she finally turns around, the sheet drops, and then it's like, everyone takes a breath. It's like, whoa, and then suddenly every cupboard in the house and every plate falls out of each cupboard, and the TV explodes and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
I think that's the only effective scene in the entire series. It's just no.
Whereas, like with Quarantine, like I watched Quarantine before I knew Wreck was a thing, because I literally picked it up in a bargain like basement DVD rack, and it was harrowing. I watched it on my own on my laptop with my earphones in, and I was terrified. And then I had to go my bedroom when I was at uni was like basically off of the kitchen, and then you had the bathroom off of the kitchen as well, and I had to cross the dark kitchen to get to the bathroom, and it's the first time since I was about 12 that I was like, oh fucking hell, all right, this is I had to psych myself up to go for a wee.
You can do this, Mike.
Which film
you
did you actually
this!
prefer then? Seeing it, the thing of seeing Quarantine first, like seeing the remake. Did it have a detrimental effect on actually seeing Wreck?
No, because I normally, not to sound like a hipster, but I normally sort of enjoy the original version of a film. The remakes are normally kind of miss something, and I think Wreck's way more brutal.
Yeah.
And like it's a little bit scarier because you're having to read the subtitles. And then that sounds weird, but I as a viewer felt disoriented because it's like I don't know what these people are saying and they're terrified. Like, what are they scared of? It's like that scene. I'm going to liken it to Rick and Morty. So if you haven't seen Rick and Morty,
we've talked
I
about Rick
apologise.
and Morty in every single one of these podcasts.
Good.
Like
Good.
every single one.
Good.
I haven't seen
fucking
it
brilliant.
at all.
Well, I highly recommend you do. Bevan is a recent convert,
Right.
so talk to him or talk to me. I fucking love it. Yeah, there's a scene when Jerry goes to an extra dimension. He ends up in kind of like a play group for Jerrys, and they say, well, he finds out he can leave whenever he wants, but all the Jerrys don't leave. So he's like, well, I'm an adult and I'm going to leave. And the nurse says, well, yeah, that's fine. You're always able to do that. And he goes outside, and it's a completely alien world. Like they all speak different languages. They're all like they've got different anatomy. It seems like disgusting and weird to him. He sits on a park bench. Someone sits next to him. He's like, a friendly face. And then this guy just starts like trying to eat him. So he goes back in. He's like, oh fuck. And that's I sort of akin it to that. Because it's in another language that I don't understand. It adds that kind of element of confusion and unknowing. That kind of adds to the drama and the fear and how harrowing that first film is.
And quite similar to the J horror movies as well. I think the first seeing Ringu and Dark Water, the original,
The Grudge
again, it's
as well.
without the sort of American sensibilities and the the PG-13 aspects that they put onto every remake of a horror movie.
Yeah.
They are a lot more effective and genuinely disorientating, I would say, rather than just the typical American bullshit.
The original Ju-on scares the fuck out of me. That kid, that fucking kid that they just completely like almost ignored in the remake.
The American one, yeah.
That kid, it's terrifying. Terrifying.
I was listening to your podcast, the Halloween one, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad that somebody said the Babadook and somebody also said Event Horizon, because Event Horizon has to be one of the freakiest.
Incredible.
Like, it really, literally, it gave me nightmares. I went to see it in the cinema in Larne when that was open.
In Larne,
in
Jesus.
Larne, yeah, back in the day.
You survived.
And it was, oh mate, I've never had so many nightmares in my entire life. It was horrible. It was so grim. I could not sleep.
Yeah, we were discussing the me being a child and going through scene by scene the sped up sort of nightmare sequences and the torture sequences.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible! Absolutely incredible.
I think kind of cosmic horror does really affect some people, doesn't it? It's that idea of like, oh fuck, we are but tiny specks, and there are things out there way more powerful than us. It's why Lovecraft was so enduring as a narrative theory. There are hundreds of horror writers that we don't know about from that time period, but we do know Lovecraft because he enters that kind of, these are cosmic beings who couldn't give a fuck about you and will use you to their will. That's terrifying.
Speaking of which, Donald Trump has been elected as president.
Oh my god.
We don't do politics and Geek Pride.
Yeah, I know, but
we have to
we
discuss it,
do.
man. Yeah,
but yeah, for real. Like, what the fuck? Someone suggested when we were talking about recording this episode of the podcast, because we wanted to try and keep it a little bit light, but 2016, what the fuck? We should talk about kind of apocalypse tips and things like that.
Yes.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Trump. I think the hashtag has already been made for this one. Trumpocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a sketch that I still want to do for Geek Pride. about the zombie apocalypse, where you've got a guy that's being kind of, I say chased, but you know what I mean. Like, he's running from zombies. He's like scared shitless, and he's in kind of normal clothes. He's clearly kind of hobbled together his survival gear, and he's just trying to escape. And then he runs into, like, for want of a better expression, like a hipster survivalist. So he's got all the gear. And then they have this conversation, and this guy just starts belittling him. He's like, "Oh, so you haven't even got paracord as your bootstraps? Oh, well, like, you're going to need that to try and make a shelter." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I mean, I've just come from... they are coming." It's like, "Yeah, I know. I've got an app on my phone. Don't worry about it. It's fine." And basically, he continues being a massive dick. And then, because this dude's talking so much, they get kind of encumbered by the zombies, because they're in like a, for want of a better expression, like an alleyway. And then the zombies come in, and the dude, and it zooms in on our protagonist, the guy who's not the hipster, and he's like, fuck, and the zombie's going to eat him. And then you hear the crunch. He opens his eyes, and the zombies are eating the hipster, and not him. And he's like looking around really scared. And then one of the zombies spits out a toe or something and goes, "What? This guy's a dick. Run already." And then just carries on eating him. And the dude just runs away. And then, it could be a PSA about not being a dick during the apocalypse.
Yeah, you see, but my counter for that, Mike, would be, it might actually be a little bit funnier if the zombies literally don't approach him because he's got all of the gear, because you're sort of setting it up quite obviously there that the hipster's going to suffer.
I see what you're trying to do, you subversive little shit.
Yep.
Back off.
I subvert. That is what I do.
I subvert. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
So how are we going to go about... I'm mindful that if we dabble our toe in political sort of shenanigans, that some of our listenership may not appreciate our views. So how are we going to go about this without being overly sort of...
in a tactful way, without getting too embedded into politics, basically?
Yes.
My thought was that we talk about fictional events that are absolutely 100% worse than Trump being elected.
That's hilarious. I literally did an article for Geek Pride a couple of years ago about 5 apocalypses that could definitely happen.
Oh, was there one about raptors or dinosaurs or something in it?
No, sinkhole. What was it? Sinkholes, monkeys that can control your brain. That's real. That's a real thing. They did an experiment on some monkeys. If you want to go to www.geek-pride.co.uk and find my article. It's from a couple of years ago. I might even share it on Geek Pride on the day that this comes out. So if I remember, someone give me a nudge. But yeah, there was an experiment on these monkeys where one monkey had like a helmet thing on. The other monkey had a basically these pins tapped into his brain, and when the monkey moved his arm, the other monkey moved his arm, and like they weren't looking at each other. It was essentially like controlling him with his brain, which is terrifying.
On a more serious note, there's something I was sort of thinking about. You know that he's sort of a satirist. The guy Pye, is it Ernie Pye? Is he
Jonathan Pye?
Jonathan Pye, yeah, Jonathan Pye, yeah, sorry.
Ernie Pye.
Ernie, I don't know.
Ernie
My
Pye.
name's Ernie Pye. I'm a political pundit.
Anyway, that dude. He takes the piss. He's obviously quite a left wing sort of kind of follower. I think he's a bit of a Corbynite. Now he had a bit of a rant in a video yesterday about how the left has failed, and they're the reason Trump was elected, and that it was because instead of engaging in sort of more right-wing supporters or people who would sort of support Trump or vote for him, people just took the piss and made them feel stupid and belittled them and things like that. Would that be something you'd agree with?
Oh, fuck off! You're an idiot, aren't you, Matt? I love how you said, let's not get into serious political stuff. Then you immediately dived into, well, is the left too pious in its beliefs about racism and sexism?
Well, do you know what? Let's bring it round to geekery. We can see this is exactly what happens in geek culture with any elitism. You know, you've got little Timmy who's watched Batman v Superman and gone, I quite like that Superman character, I want to read more comics about Superman, and then he goes to talk, goes to a comic book store, and then the older kids rip the piss out of him, and maybe even the comic book store owner rips the piss out of him, being like, what? You don't even know who the last son of Krypton is? You don't even know who Cyber Superman is? What the fuck are you doing? You're not a fan of Superman. Take that t-shirt off. Rah, 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 rah. Get out. Any elitism in any kind of sect will alienate and obfuscate the message that you're trying to get. I know, right? That you're trying to get across, and therefore, it leads to a rising tide of anti whatever the thing is. So you might be right. There's ways to have a discussion. Let's carry on with geekery.
I think geek elitism in geekery is a good sort of parallel to it, because it's very similar in that, like Mike said, certain people have views on things. Like me, I'm not a massive sort of film buff or anything, and there'll be certain films like Paranormal Activity, like I said, I quite like that, and a lot of you go, oh, you're an idiot. Why would you like that film? It's silly. But it's just how I feel, and it's how I like, and it's the same like with me in music. I'm very, very pretentious about my music, and I'd be like, why do you like this shit band when you should be listening to something far superior? And instead of just kind of going, all right, you like what you like, you're wrong, but let's engage in it.
As far as I'm concerned, if
you can be confident about what you enjoy without belittling someone else. That's the main thing. You can, if you're having a discussion with someone, by all means have a discussion and try and get your point across and try and exert some sort of influence, but do it in a positive way. That's again, they talk about elitism and geekery. I mean, it is very much, people do take it very negatively. It's all about trying to big yourself up, trying to make yourself sound more intelligent by belittling someone else. And
do you think
it's?
Do you think that is a? Do you think that's sort of a hang up from? I always sort of, when I think of elitism within geeks, and we get it quite a lot with Geek Pride. People say, we had a guy who messaged us and said, "Why don't you do more articles with Linux? You're obviously not geeks if you don't use Linux," or something. I was dead serious about it, man. And left the group and stuff. But you get people like that.
What a douchebag.
Do you think it's sort of down to obviously they've been maybe bullied? We've all been bullied when we were younger.
Man.
They've been bullied, and they're basically using this as I am better. Therefore, I will sort of. A good example of this, and this is really horrible, but a bit of a confessional here. Okay, I used to get bullied quite a lot in school. I wore big glasses. I was a massive nerd. I wasn't into sort of cool things. I hung around with sort of other nerds. Used to get beat up on a regular basis, picked on a regular basis.
Can I just ask what's changed?
What's changed is he's now 6'3", 6'4", and he's built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've seen your rugby photos, your school rugby photos. Man.
Yeah, well, so I joined the rugby team. That was one thing to try and get me out of it. But just what happened was, in school, I used to get picked on quite a lot, and it obviously makes you feel down. And then I would get on the bus, and because my sister was one of the cool kids. And her friends, they used to sit at the back of the bus, and I was the brother. Therefore, in sort of proxy, I was a cool kid as well. Therefore, I'd sit at the back of the bus and pick on kids at the front of the bus with them, and it was just like, and it was sort of, it was horrible because thinking about it, it's just like I was just sort of, what's the word? When you sort of, I can't think of it.
You were just trying to fit in.
Yeah, I'm trying to fit in, but I was pushing my anger and my
deflecting.
Deflecting. That's it. I was deflecting because I was getting picked on so much. And there was a guy on the bus. I feel bad about it to this very day. There's a guy he was called Johnny Johnson, I think his name was.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it was his name. Johnny Johnson, yeah. And he had a sister called Jenny Johnson. So
oh my god.
I know, don't
Did their
laugh.
parents
Mike,
hate them?
This is really bad.
Did their parents actually hate them? Jenny and Johnny?
Yeah, okay.
Were they flower pot men?
Yeah, just like they obviously got picked on due to their names. Kids are very cruel. And this guy, this group, obviously in school, beaten up, blah blah blah. Get on the bus. I'm now a cool kid. I'm sitting in the back with my sister and friends and stuff. And by the way, my sister's an awesome person. She's not a horrible person. We've all grown up since we were younger. I'm not saying she's still like this now.
She's still at the back of the buses to these days, just shouting at
just
10-year-olds.
calling people out. Yeah.
No, she's a very good artist now. But I'm just saying,
She is.
Yeah, it's just these kids, these two used to get picked on. Just more to do with the fact that they're in their names. And one day, Johnny, and I'd always said to myself, if I see this guy again, I'm going to apologise to him because I haven't seen him in, I don't know, 20 odd years, 25 years or something like that. I'm not sure.
Well, Matthew, I'm pleased to let you know that he's here tonight. Johnny Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Johnny, if you're listening, I apologise for my immaturity. I was deflecting, and it was a horrible thing to do. But
you should really try to contact him in a sort of "my name is Earl" sort of way.
Yeah,
try and make it up to him.
I was thinking about it, but it's like what happened is one day, obviously, it wasn't like horrible picking on. It was just like we had a stupid name for him, even because of his name and stuff, and we used to just chant it at the back, and that was it. And then one day he came into school and he had no hair, and I was like, holy shit, this guy has got so stressed out because of us that he's lost his hair. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, I stopped instantly. I was like, what the fuck have you done? Like, it could be something completely unrelated, but in my mind that was it, because it was so like, one day he's got hair, next day he doesn't have hair. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And then obviously I put it to the back of my mind, didn't think about it, obviously stopped sort of kind of doing shit like that. I joined the rugby team. I was driving by then, so I wasn't getting the bus very often. I sort of kind of pushed my sort of kind of nerdiness to the side if I could, tried to be somebody who I wasn't. That hence sort of the Geek Pride thing. I was trying to hide who I was. And then I was in university, and from some day I was just thinking, I was like, I need to apologise to this guy. I know it was ages ago and it might not be relevant, and everybody understands that kids can be cruel, but I'm not that sort of person. I'm a nice guy, and I was bullied, and I feel like, I would like to find him someday and just go, look, dude, I'm 35 years old, you probably don't remember me, but I apologise most profusely for anything, those stupid names we called you as kids, because I used to get stupid names called to me, I used to get beaten up on a regular basis, and I shouldn't have deflected that onto you just because it made me feel ever so slightly bigger.
I mean, I
plot
think
twist. Plot twist. The reason that he was bald. No, the reason that he was bald, he was actually a white nationalist. Going and apologising to him now, he's an absolutely terrible human being.
If we
he's seen American History X.
Yeah, he's like, if they call me that fucking nickname one more time, I'm curb stomping the son of a bitch.
It's mad, man, because I have a massive guilt complex. I really can't be bad guys in games. I can't do things I feel bad if I do bad things.
You were raised Catholic,
that is an
right?
article. Sorry, guys, that is an article that I've been trying to write for the best part of like 2 or 3 months now, about ethics in video games. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but about
that's a bad choice of words, mate.
It is, yeah.
That
don't
is
say
a bad choice of fucking words.
Yeah. #Gamergate. Don't be very careful.
But yeah, it's about exactly the same as myself in terms of anytime I play a game, when it gives you the opportunity to be able to choose your path, whether it's a positive or like Mass Effect, the sort of the the hero or the villain sort of side, or Red Dead Redemption, it's the how you feel. Do you feel comfortable to take the villain sort of direction?
Can't do it. I feel really.
Exactly the same as myself.
I feel guilty. I just can't do it.
I
can't even be an arse. I can't even do the sarcastic remarks. I've got to do the really nice guy sort of, okay, good man, I will help you out.
I'm so sorry, Gareth, I didn't mean it.
I'll give you an example. I was playing Bioshock 2 the other day, and I'm sitting playing Bioshock, and my girlfriend's sitting beside me, and I rescued one of the little sisters, and because it is like a different control system from Bioshock 1, when it comes to the bit where you harvest or save, I hit the wrong button and I harvested her, and I was heartbroken for like half an hour. I'm sitting there going, "No, what did I do? And my girlfriend's just looking at me going, "What are you like? What are you doing?"
Oh man, it's like when I was playing what was it? It was 2 games. The Telltale games, the Walking Dead one.
Yeah.
That-
God, how the
was
fuck do you sleep at night?
Man, that was traumatizing. I was just like, what the fuck have I done? I've literally had to choose between a little boy and his father, and I've chosen the father. What have I done and stuff? And it's just like,
No, I went for the little boy. He's too fucking annoying.
yeah, and it,
Yeah, oh yeah.
you know,
so.
things like that. But there's what was it? Dragon Age. The one with the pirate hooker in it. I can't remember it. The Spanish
Dragon Age 2, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Dragon
don't
Age.
remember Sean being in a Dragon Age.
But there's a bit where the mage, who's sort of one of the mages, I can't remember his name, but he's sort of following you around, and I was just being a nice guy to him, just because I'm a nice guy, and obviously I pushed it too far, and the relationship thing kicked in, and he turns up at my door, all wanting, like, you know, to sort of do rumpy pumpy, you know, in that way, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry, and I sort of look, I felt guilty that I'd led him on, even though it was a bloody game. I felt
So there you are, fellas. If you want to sleep with Matt, you just have to be quite polite about it, and he'll feel so bad he can't say no.
Oh man, seriously, that's it. So, massive guilt complex, and I've felt guilty about that one guy for years, and I've never seen him since. So I couldn't really sort of apologize or anything.
We have very different drivers, Matt, in video games. I'm driven by spite and revenge. So story. I played Skyrim, and I became the Archmage of Winterhold, and my build was like a battle mage, in that I kind of only had the magic to heal myself and do cool things, and then I had a fuck off axe that had like all the magical powers in it. And I did this thing. There's a quest where these kids are trying to summon the Brotherhood, who are like these assassins, against their evil orphanage owner, because she's like beating the kids and stuff. And I was like, I'll do it myself. Don't worry about it. So I kill this woman, and then the Brotherhood start rocking up, and they're like, you show great promise, and they kidnap you and put you in a room, and they say, right, this person has murdered, this person's committed theft, and this person has committed adultery. You have to kill one of them, or we're going to kill you. And I was like, I don't fucking know who these people are. Absolutely not. So I killed the person who kidnapped me, and then they were like, the Brotherhood is now on you. So instead of like going, oh fuck, I literally marched to their hideout, opened their door, and rained glorious hellfire upon every single one of them and their pet spider. Literally wipe them and their memory off the face of the earth. Then literally got all their clothes and just put them into one chest and put that chest somewhere else.
Yeah, but
and
that's
like, no, the Brotherhood no longer exists. Fuck you.
I know,
You have
but
crossed
that's
me.
That wouldn't really be a moral dilemma, because they're bad guys. So you don't.
Well, they're not. They're not. The Brotherhood aren't necessarily bad guys. They're just the Assassin's Guild. Assassins aren't bad people.
Mercenaries.
Kinda, yeah.
But you could sort of justify it to yourself. It's not like he's.
I didn't need to justify it to myself.
You know,
You fucking crossed me.
It's not like you've gone into, you know, Johnny's house and sort of fucking set fire to his Christmas presents and you know, just shouted in his face.
What kind of bullying was this you were doing?
I know. I'm just saying.
Haha, Johnny, we set fire to Christmas.
No, you didn't rain
You
fire.
and your
and
stupid name.
It's if in the game there was a bit where you're on a carriage, and there's a guy called Johnson or something, you know, and you're like, ha ha ha, you know, you take the piss out of him, and then you go to his house and set fire to his
Set
shit.
fire to Christmas.
Jesus Christ,
Not
man.
many. While we're reminiscing, I just wanna, if Charlie Kent, if you're listening, you're still a cunt. I haven't forgiven you for saying the things you said to my mum, and I gladly get detention for giving you 2 black eyes again. You massive prick.
Oh,
He
wow.
poured water on my fucking GameCube. He poured water on my GameCube. Then he called my mum a whore. Kicked me in the face so hard I blacked out a bit. Then when I woke up, went full ADHD rage and beat him to a pulp. I was the one in trouble. The next day, they're like, they literally called me a savage.
I think this has become less of a podcast and more of a like,
Therapy session, yeah.
So we've kind of gone from getting
Bare
away
our
from
souls.
the sort of We went
Trump
from
apocalypse.
Trump apocalypse. We went from horror films to sort of verging into politics, and then suddenly went straight into sort of therapy session.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
trying to
that's
verge. We need to verge away from politics because it's not something that a lot of people don't come to the Geek Podcast to think, well, these 4 or 3 are definitely going to be, as insightful as Paxman, and I really want to hear
Well, you don't know
what
that,
their
Sean.
thoughts are.
Maybe we could start
If you would
something.
like to hear what my thoughts about Donald Trump are, I might suggest that you go to Mike Orvis Music on YouTube, and I've just released a beat poem set to the Godzilla theme about how I feel about it.
You're such a self-promoting whore.
I don't just promote myself, I promote other things
Mike-
and other people.
Mike Horvis.
Mike Orvis in every
No,
single
Hor-
podcast. There's got to be
Horvis.
There's Horvis. Mike Horvis.
I've definitely never heard that before. Oh, you cut to the heart of me.
Yeah, no.
You've cut to the heart.
The
of
problem
me,
is,
Baxter.
right, what you lot have got to understand, I have a lot of fingers in a lot of pies, and I have to
That's
promote
what
these
she
things.
said.
It's all about cross-promotion. Look at anything Kevin... I'm just using the Kevin Smith model. Like, if you listen to any of his podcasts, he's going to talk about the films he's working on. If you watch his films, you'll see, like, little tie-ins with the podcasts that he does. If you read his book, he's plugging everything all the time. Like, you've got to, because then you can go... If you like me in the Geek Pride podcast, you might like the music that I do. If you like the music that I do, you might like this bit of writing that I did for another website. If you like the writing I did for the other bit of website, you might like me on Geek Pride. Do you see what I mean? It's all about just having like cross promotion, because then we're all helping out each other. We're all like creatives and like trying to do something with our lives that isn't the 9-to-5 grind. So I just think that it's useful that if you've got a platform, use it to promote. And I don't just promote myself. I normally promote stuff that I'm working on or working with people, but I regularly, if you listen back to the podcast, I regularly kind of drop other people's names and say, hey, check out their thing, check out their page,
You
check
do.
out their
Mike.
stuff.
In your defence, Mike, you do.
And if any of you listen to Gentlemanly Chats, I do it all the time. All the fucking time. In fact, there's a section every week called Mike's Likes, and then whoever the guest is, something that they like that rhymes with them.
Well, we would, but you haven't given us anything recently because you're meant to be sort of sorting out something so we can get it uploaded on.
Right, do you know what? We'll do it after this. I'm
Right.
free after this. We'll do it after this.
Right, okay.
Because I've got a bank of like 5 episodes, and I'm recording episode 69 tomorrow night.
69, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough of how the sausage is made. Talking about the backgrounds of the podcast. I mean, I'm glad we are getting a little away from Trump and talking about geek elitism, but I don't personally feel that the analogy quite works, because it's the equivalent of saying, Star Wars is the only real sci-fi film or something like that, versus someone who says, well, no, films are terrible and shouldn't be watched ever. That's the sort of equivalence that we have with some of the conversations that some Trump supporters have.
I know, but I think that's the issue. There, some of them, and I'm bad at this myself. I'm quite a staunch sort of kind of. I have very staunch views on certain things, as many as you will know from my Facebook rants and stuff like that. I have very strong views on certain things.
Never.
And I have been known to belittle others when I think their views are stupid. If they're really
Brexit.
Yeah,
It's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're frustrated, it comes out, but then it's the instant sort of regret afterwards, where maybe I wasn't as tactful as you probably could.
Yeah, I try my best, right? I always make a point when I write, if I'm going to have a massive rant on Facebook or something, I try to structure it. I try to make it so it's sort of structured. It's not bulletproof, but at least it's firm. It holds water, and it's not. It's sort of, I understand, but this is how I feel. And yes, you may feel this, but, and then have this instead. But I get the impression that there's a lot of people out there who are just out and out idiots. They have no view on things. They don't know what goes on in the world. They have very strong, horrible views, and I don't really have an issue that I call people like that idiots, but there will be informed people who will just have different opinions because that's the way they've been brought up, or they just don't believe in the certain values that we believe in. And I think they're the ones that you sort of kind of need to engage with more. And if you sort of tarnish the whole lot, if you tar the whole lot with the same brush, then they just go, well, fuck this. They don't say anything, and then you get massive upsets like Trump and Brexit.
It's difficult though, because engaging with people who have such very different beliefs, it isn't necessarily a fantastic endeavour to engage in. So I've got the stereotypical racist uncle, like UKIP supporting racist uncle and so on, and have conversations with him, and it's just like facts and counter arguments don't really work. And it's not as though we're going to ever come to a position where we're ever going to understand or like respect one another's positions, because I'm just a leftist lovey like scum and he's UKIP supporting. It's not. There's not really a common ground there, and it's not. It's such a horrifically complex thing now that.
Do you think that? Sorry. Do you think that? If I post stuff on Facebook, is it more for me trying to make a difference, or is it just me trying to make myself feel better, or us as a collective?
Bit of both. I say bit of both.
Probably mostly when you're putting on social media, it's an expression of what you're thinking. To many people, it'll be like a way of signaling the way you think, and it kind of making yourself feel better. There's not the problem, particularly with Facebook, is that Facebook learns your political leanings and then only shows you things that match your political leanings. I don't know exactly where it is, but you can go into Facebook and it has an assessment of whether you are left, middle, right, and how far you are to one or the other, and then it makes certain that you only see things like that. And so with particularly Facebook, you've got an echo chamber almost that only shows you
what you want
things,
to see.
Yeah, the things that you want to see, which makes sense from Facebook's perspective. They don't want you to log on to Facebook and see things which are going to be challenging or awkward or like upset you potentially. They want you to log on to Facebook and just say, oh, haha, look at that kitten playing with that puppy. Like, that's what they want, because that's their entire business model, is people go on to see what their friends and family are doing, to share things, to have a good time. And then they see an advert, and advertisers want that kind of image and that feeling when you are seeing their content. With Twitter, it's slightly different, because if you want, you can just go and follow, say, Stormfront official Twitter page and see something that literally couldn't challenge your views more. But by challenge, I mean make you want to throttle people. But
I think sort of when it comes to, like, I did a history degree, and you're always taught to always look at the other side of the coin, always have a view on what other people think before you make a view on yourself. And I quite like, as much as sometimes it's very uncomfortable, seeing what other people think, and what people believe. And I quite like having. I've got people on my Facebook who I wouldn't really call friends, but I like having around because they have very different views than me, and I quite enjoy reading what they say. I don't agree with them, but then it's good because I get a view from the other side. And I feel that sometimes if you have just if you cull your friends list like a lot of people do, and they have just the sort of people they want there agreeing with everything they say, they're not rounded in a way, because in the end it's Facebook. You can do what you want. You it's your friendships. But for me, Facebook's a knowledge base in a way, and it's like a sounding board, like you said. It's trying to see what other people think. And if everybody disagreed with me all the time, I think it'd be quite boring. I quite like when people challenge me on things, because it makes me think, and it makes me sort of kind of go, oh, am I right? I'm definitely right, but I'll engage them more and stuff. But I like that.
And that makes
But that's the
sense.
problem. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, David.
Okay. I mean, I think that's the problem at the moment. Whereas before there was always division, everyone had their own opinion, but there was a general willingness to be able to, as you say, Matt, assess everyone else's opinion and have a rational discussion about it. Whereas I think now society as a whole is leaning further to the right and further to the left. There is no real common ground anymore, and that is alienating a lot of people. And that's, you know, what we're talking about, obviously alienating the right and the rise of Trump and UKIP and so on. Everything's a cycle. I mean, the next, what will happen is there'll be a reaction to this, and the reaction will be, the left will then reorganize, remotivate, and then there'll be probably, I'd say, within the next election cycle, there'll be uprising the left, which will further alienate the right. So then again, there'll be a cycle. It'll just keep on going on and going on until someone comes along that does, in some, miraculously, bring people back to the center. But I think society at the moment, with the rise of social media, with unfortunately like a rise in general bigotry and unwillingness to learn about each other and each other's opinions, it's just going to get worse and worse.
The problem I see, though, is and we are going to get dangerously political here, at least I am going to now, is that it's
get him.
Yeah, get me. It's all well and good to try and have that kind of conversation, but Trump literally advocates. It's back on his website, makeamericagreat.gov or greatagain.gov. It's something like that. That they're going to have the ban on Muslims. Newt Gingrich is talking about having an actual register of Muslims within the United States, and you've got the Mike Pence with his gay conversion stance, where he's saying that he did literally.
You can pray the gay away.
Not even that. He's saying you should electrocute the gay away. That there should be.
Christ.
Yeah.
I saw some.
Remember, Pence is a guy who still believes that smoking believes that smoking is not a cause for death.
And so, yeah, exactly.
That it's not. That's not bad.
Is he one of the creationists?
Yes,
he's one of them. They're creationists.
I'm sure he is. He's
yeah. Oh man.
And so
I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
You know what? There's one group of people who I really don't care. Creationists are them.
Matt, you're being intolerant.
I have no tolerance for creationists at all. It's literally like, come on, man, seriously.
But
really,
but that sort of implies to me, Matt, and this isn't like a gotcha, but it's like you've got no tolerance for creationists, but the guys who are saying that gay conversion therapy, well, I want to understand their opinion a bit more, maybe talk to them. It's that sort of red line. There are just certain things that people can never agree on. The very strong evangelical Americans who came out in droves to vote for Trump, their main line is about abortion. It doesn't matter that Donald Trump is literally one of the least Christian candidates to be elected in history, being a thrice married man who's got children by so many different women, who's on record as having cheated on women and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter to them because they only have one major issue, which is abortion, and that's not something that it's really easy to bridge, or even possible to bridge a gap over. It's a very complex and horrific problem.
Do you think humanity as a whole is fixable? Do you think, I think about this, we are inherently broken people, broken as people, as a race. Do you think, you got all these sort of like in Star Trek, you've got this utopian sort of society where everybody agrees around things.
Yeah, but that was after 200 years of fucking nuclear war.
But do you think you think there will ever be a point where something could happen?
Yeah.
Or what catalyst do you think it would be? War?
Aliens or robots? And I'm not kidding.
No.
So you basically
I agree. Wholeheartedly agree.
I'd say there's a third one, that there's post-scarcity, where you no longer have the need to fight over resource and so on. So once you get kind of entirely sufficient like solar power, for example. Once you've got robot farmers, you just no longer need to. So when there's no longer anything to really fight about it in terms of pure survival, that might see a change in human behaviour.
I didn't think about it that way, actually. Yeah, you're right. But saying that, you'll have, for example, if you had, is it nuclear fission or fusion, or is it nuclear fusion? Which one's the one we've got now, and which is the one they're trying to figure out? It's
fusion that we've got now. It's nuclear fission, which is the one that China are going all in on to try and work out, because the moment they work it out, they've dominated the world. Yeah,
so basically that's just like all energy needs ever sort of done. Yeah. I think they said something. What some guy said he's done it, but in a small scale. It's not sort of economical at this moment in time, but he's done it. But if that happened, then basically all the oil-producing countries would literally their economies would just crash.
Yeah.
And therefore, that would cause more problems. But then I guess conversely, if they were getting cheap energy anyway, they could focus on other things, and
It's to answer. Right, by the way, what a depressing podcast topic. Do you think that our race is fundamentally broken? Discuss.
I think it's good.
The problem.
Sorry. Mike. Sorry. No, Mike, you go ahead.
Okay, I was going to try and bring it back to the social media thing just for a second. The issue with the echo chamber, if it wasn't already sort of overtly apparent, is that everyone thinks they're safe. Everyone thinks, oh, okay, well the world thinks this because you've selectively, and I've done it. Like you go, if you think this, I'm going to fucking block you because you're an idiot. You kind of trim the herd in your head, and this happened with Brexit. Every one of my friends went, yeah, of course we're not going to vote leave.
I did exactly the same.
Do you know what I mean?
Shit.
And then
everyone, it's gonna be a landslide.
Yeah, and then everyone woke up and went, sorry, what? And then you remember there are people who don't use Facebook. You go, hang on, what? There are people who get their news from the news. There are people who get their news from Dave. There are people who get their news from Gary, your co-worker who's also a bricklayer, and he thinks like you. So he says, "Now we got to fuck them off out of it, mate. Right? We get paid more. We get better hours if we fucked off all them immigrants." Right? That's what happened. Okay, so to summarise my point, if you live in an echo chamber, you don't really get that opposing view, and you don't know that that's going on. I don't know how far into my rant the last what happened before we. Full disclosure, we cut out, ladies and gentlemen.
We cut out.
It was crazy. I was doing accents and everything. It was brilliant. So I don't know how much of that's being kept. Well, I mean, I've got it. But yes, that's people. Not everyone's on social media. We need to remember.
But it was such a shock. Was Brexit, and I think there's just the whole world is a bit fucked, isn't it? Really, let's just be honest.
Well, what's going to be really interesting?
It's sad already. Let's bring it down that little bit more.
The biggest, the biggest problem that I see at the moment, and the biggest bugbear that I have about the alt-right rise and so on, it seems to be anytime there's an argument about it, the point is made that, well, it's all you educated lefties that are the problem. We're just the normal working class folk. Yeah. It's like, what's wrong with being educated? What's wrong with wanting to strive to do something other than working in a factory and living in a cul-de-sac where you're afraid of other people coming in and infiltrating your little area?
Dude,
I'm from Northern Ireland, and it's the worst.
Yeah, you're absolutely like it's like you knew. I can completely relate, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm muddling my words, but I was the first guy in my family to go to grammar school. I was the first one to go to university, and my village where I come from, completely fucking ostracised, because if you come in and you're like, oh, I learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they're like, yeah man, I could sell you like a 5-bag, or like I don't really know what you're going on about, so I'm offended by that, because you're just trying to be one of them smart boys, aren't you? And I'm like, well, no, I was just trying to have a conversation. Oh, you think you're better than me? And then they like try to stab you in the kidneys. But no, I completely agree. Like, Fun fact: I've always had this accent. No one in my village has this accent. They all think they're from London. I don't know.
You get me, bro. You get me, blood.
Honestly, yeah, all of them are like that. Yeah. So, like, the playground was incredible. I'm like, hello, chums, would you like to play Pokemon cards? They're like, man, I've got 5 Charizards here. I will swap you one for a Bulbasaur because I ain't got one of them yet.
That is brilliant.
And then you get out your Bulbasaur and you're like, well, as long as we're friends. And they're like, nah, man, I'm just going to take that because I'm bigger than you and my brother's bigger than you and we're going to fight you. Do you get me? Because I was the oldest kid in my family, so I couldn't like go to my brother and be like, the bigger kids are picking on me. I had to go and fight his fights. And
that's right. I did. And I got my younger brother to do it.
It's like, Michael, please help me.
Well, the problem being, back to therapy. When you've got ADHD and you're a kid, you're pushed and pushed and pushed, and then you get to a certain level where you, for want of a better expression, you can't feel pain. You just go into like weird fucking spacky kid mode and just go, I'm gonna hurt you now because you've hurt me, and you just keep going, and then you're the one that always ends in trouble because you're the one that's bricked them in the face or like thrown something at them that's you shouldn't have thrown, or pushed them out of a tree and they've nearly broken a rib and things like that. You're like ignoring the hours and hours of wind up that other kid has done, all the punching, all the kicking, all the screaming, all of that. You ignore all of that and just go, oh, look what Mike did.
So maybe I'm hearing the wrong thing here, but are you saying that we should give ADHD kids a copy of Machiavelli's The Prince so they know how to get revenge properly?
Yeah,
there we are.
Because guess who was the favourite child growing up? My fucking sister, and God love her, she was a sneaky little cow. So if she wanted something, she'd walk into the room, trip over her own feet, and be like, "Michael, I can't believe you've just done that, Mummy, I'm so hurt." Cry, 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 and I get sent to my room again because Mum's seen me kick her, a week ago. So why the hell wouldn't I do it again?
Me and my brother used to fight perpetually, but it was just a case of, you're both as bad as each other, so neither of us got any preferential treatment.
Well, my sister had that butter wouldn't melt face, so yeah, she got away with a lot. And then my brother's, for want of a better expression, a thug. So he just goes off and does his own thing. Because if he doesn't, he'll kick a door in. And my mum's like, it's cheaper just to let you ruin your life than keep replacing doors in the house. So off you go. Yeah, family affair.
The Orvises, ladies and gentlemen, the Orvises.
Excuse me.
Still a more functional family than the Trumps.
They're the Orvis Danielses. Thank you very much.
The Orvis Daniels. Wow.
Yeah. Mum remarried.
Are they hyphenated?
Yeah. Without going into like this is more a gentlemanly chat sort of conversation than it is a Geek Pride podcast. But yeah, my mum remarried. I got a new dad at about 3. Who's lovely and a top bloke. And
is it Paul Daniels or was
it's
it
not
Paul
fucking
Daniels?
Paul Daniels? No.
He doesn't do magic then?
No, he doesn't do
then
magic.
What was the
He's
point?
A butcher. You fucking jebs. He does magic. He does magic with a. He does magic with a roast on a Sunday.
You can make a sausage disappear.
Matthew Geary. That's Mon Pere. How dare you?
I'm sorry. I feel like the guilt complex has come back now. I feel bad for saying that.
No, don't.
Sitting at the back of the bus, man.
Do you know what on a really random note, right? Back to the guilt complex.
Yeah.
I'm sort of dating this girl at the minute, and I was obviously we were bantering back and forth on. You don't know this, Dave? Yes,
not at all. We didn't discuss this before we started the podcast.
So I've been dating this girl for a bit, and we were bantering back and forth over WhatsApp and stuff. And she was taking a piss, and then I was taking a piss. But then she obviously suckered me because she made it out that she was really offended about what I said. And I got super like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. She's like, what are you talking about, you idiots? I know you're joking. I was like, you fucking idiot. But I felt really bad. I was just like, oh no. And I ruined the whole conversation because it was good banter until I got super sort of guilty and went, oh no, I'm really sorry. I'm a really nice guy, really.
And that's the story about how he bought a horse to apologise to this girl he's been dating for 3 weeks.
She's got 4 horses, man. Like 4 horses.
Of the apocalypse?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh my god.
She's got 4 horses.
Do you know
what, mate? It was brilliant because it was just like, she was like, oh, I wonder what happened next. She was going on about Brexit and Trump, and I said, what else is going to happen? I said, yeah, somebody could have 4 horses, and she's like, oh yeah, and I was like, 4 horses.
Matt, is that why you got your garden? landscaped? Are you going to keep one of the horses
If you're
there?
talking about my, if you're talking,
call it trigger,
if
are
you're
you?
talking about my manscaping, then yeah, totally.
Come on, we're all geeks here. Call it your mons pubis. And just get on with it. my favorite sexual anatomy name for something is the spongy bit in the penis that when it fills with blood, that's what makes your dick hard. It's called the corpus spongiosa, and that sounds like a Harry Potter spell, which is brilliant.
Really?
Corpus spongiosa. Oh God! It's
Well, there's something on your skin as well. It's called the stratum horneum, which is one of the layers of your skin, and it's known colloquially as the horny layer.
excellent.
Wow. Interesting.
But yes.
So we're learning today
Learning plenty tonight.
about sexual organs and their stupid names. Yeah.
Will we transition away from politics?
Yeah, well,
and
we've
everything?
probably got, say, with all the delay in the middle, we say about 5 minutes left. So
Can I just say one thing before we transition away from it?
Please stop rapping.
Just
Please stop rapping. Please start rapping. Please stop.
My name is David
unfortunately
Foy,
not,
and I'm
unfortunately
here
not.
to say that I really hate Trump in a massive way.
yes,
I was gonna make the point. Have you not seen the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger has replaced Trump on The Celebrity Apprentice in America?
Yes.
You're fired.
So I think we'll all look forward to Schwarzenegger 2020.
Yes, and
His
he'll
political
dress as
campaign,
fucking Conan the Barbarian and sit upon
Amazing.
a throne.
the sad
and
thing about it is
his-
you can't be president and not be native to America, unfortunately.
Yes,
That's
but
true.
Can you imagine one of his political adverts would be him on the beach, like in Commando, like loading up all the guns in his camels? That would be incredible.
my party policies are as follows: you got to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. And then he just starts like lifting shit. And,
Vote for me, don't be a party pooper.
have you ever seen?
Granda.
Have you ever seen? What's it called? This documentary about him from the 80s.
Oh, the one where he's
Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron, or
Yeah. There's an
yeah.
amazing bit about him talking about the pump. He's talking about the pump, and he's talking about how it
better than
feels
the
like all
coming.
the air is going into your biceps, and it feels like you're coming. And then it switches to him in the most adorable little jumper, he's like, so I'm coming in the gym, I'm coming at home with my wife, and I'm coming when I'm on my own. I'm coming all the time. It's a party, and it's honestly that he's such a happy little Austrian. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's got Lou Ferrigno in it, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah. And did you know that he actually punches the camel in the original Conan?
No.
He actually punched that camel.
wow.
That wasn't scripted. The camel spat at him, and he was just like, "Fuck you! You don't know who I am," and just hit this fucking camel.
But it's like just vaguely related. In the Wicker Man, most of the animals.
Which
in
Wicker
the actual
Man?
Wicker
The terrible
Man,
one or the good one with Nicolas Cage?
the only
in
one
it?
that exists.
The one with Nicolas Cage in it.
No,
Not
but
the
in that
bees!
one, the
Not
animals.
bees!
The animals in the Wicker Man, most of them actually burned.
Oh fuck!
Really?
Jesus.
Back in the day,
That's
when
like,
animal
um,
welfare, they just didn't give a fuck. They used to trip horses up on purpose and
Yeah.
shit.
That's like if you
We
watch.
need
Not
this
even
horse
for
to fall,
films.
wires.
Yeah, just for fun. People just trip horses for fun.
Hey, after the filming, do you want to go trip some horses? I'm going to lift them up,
Cow tipping.
and then I'm going to put them down again, and then I'm going to lift them up, and then I'm going to tip them over.
That's pretty good.
If you want to hear an incredible band, there's a band called Austrian Death Machine.
Yes.
Who have 2.5 albums, because then Tim Lambesis went to prison, different story.
Trying to plan for his wife to get murdered.
Yeah, it's a sore subject, and if you want to talk about it at length, I will, but not on this podcast. It really fucking bums me out. I had a whole thing about it on GC. It was like a whole thing. It really, really got to me and really bummed me out, because As I Lay Dying were one of my favourite all-time bands, and one of the biggest things about them was the lyrical content, and most of the lyrics were written by Tim. And it was just like, you're a fucking liar, and it really got to me. Anyway, Austrian Death Machine is a joke band about Arnie, and they take Arnie quotes and get a dude to sing like Arnie occasionally.
Myself and Gear.
And then like Arnocore as well.
Arnocore. No, this is different. They're a different bands.
Arnocore, another one.
Yeah,
they
they're-
like.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they play in Belfast. Seems to be every bloody week.
Myself and Gearston were headbanging to Get to the Chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's got
Halloween.
incredible lyrics. Now that what's the fucking
I just love the beatdown in it. I love the beatdown.
Get to the chopper!
I think my brother recorded it. I don't know why I put it
It's the
online.
only way out of here. Arnie, man, we should do a Geek Pride stream, which is just me and whoever the fuck else from Geek Pride who wants to hang out on a sofa, just watching Arnie films.
Yes.
I don't know whether I've spoken on the Geek Pride podcast about it, but did you know that most of his audio commentary is just him describing what he's doing in the film?
Yeah, just him just talking about the film as it's happening.
Yeah.
It's
He's
amazing.
like, okay, now here I'm going to do a big jump, and then he does the jump. He's like, that was good. Yeah, fucking brilliant. I'm going to shoot this gun now. It was really cool to hold the gun, and yeah, he just gets really excited about himself. I look really good here.
Should we start doing like film commentary?
There is.
I would love to.
There
do
is a
that.
podcast where myself and a mate of mine, Kevin Barraclough, started doing film commentaries for. We were going to start with the Video Nasties, call it Mike and Kev's XX Excellent Adventure, but then
that just sounds like you're about to fuck.
Yeah.
Good. Well, the original XXX rating wasn't about porn. It was about the Video Nasties and how they got kind of taken off.
Yeah.
So there is a podcast about that, but I'm up for doing another type of podcast like that. That's not just.
Of course
horror
you are,
movies.
Mike, because you don't do enough podcasts already.
No, we barely.
All right,
hear
why do you
from
have to sound like a disparaging parent when you say that?
I'm only
What's
joking,
wrong with
Mike.
me doing podcasts?
It's okay, Mike. It's fine. It's all right. It's okay.
I'm just hurt and offended and hurt. Don't know why it wasn't.
All right.
All right. On that note, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave it there, Dave, because I think you should end this podcast for us.
End this whole cruel,
with
terrible
a hot,
world.
with a
Yes.
hot,
Yes.
sexy
Yes.
Northern Irish rap.
No.
A Northern Irish rap. Oh god. About what? Potato bread, potato. Terrible Orange Fanta.
Wow, the best Orange Fanta ever, Dave. Don't you dare.
I found an incredible Fanta that's like you can only find it in certain sort of Eastern European shops called Shokata, which is like it's like elderflower and something else that I can't read because it's in some sort of Eastern European language, but it tastes incredible and it's so blue it's almost glowing. It's amazing.
I find that I'm a bit of a Fanta connoisseur, so I quite like the northern.
Right, instead of all the weird sexist nonsense you put in your description and quotes to your Facebook, can you just put Fanta connoisseur, Irishman, owner of half a horse?
That sexist nonsense was just a Family Guy
No,
quote, and
come
it's
on.
deleted now. Deleted
I'm
now.
really proud of you. You're growing.
Yeah. Anyway, I got my guilt complex in when she said that. It's like, oh, people actually think that. It was a Family Guy quote. I'm not a bad guy, so I deleted it because you made me feel bad.
Well, good.
Is this your Tinder?
No. Yeah, because
That's the perfect.
there's no better way to pick up chicks than to insult them.
Be sexist.
I like
Works for Trump.
yeah. Make Matt great again.
That's what we're trying to do. Oh my god, hashtag make Matt great again is the name of
Oh
the
God.
podcast.
That's the next Geek Pride t-shirt.
Oh my
Hashtag-
god.
Is that what this is called,
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Hashtag make Matt great again.
Yes.
Matt, seriously, make a t-shirt. Make t-shirts with "Make Matt Great Again" and wear them for the next year, like the last ones. Go, please.
All right,
I mean,
I'm gonna buy one.
It's definitely make one just for yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's your Christmas present when you're back in Belfast at Christmas. I'll have one.
Yes.
Can
wait.
I just say something random about Fanta before we go?
Yes.
When I was in Costa Rica, I had Fanta there, and it tasted really great, and I felt like really good afterwards. It was really strange. I couldn't believe it was so different. Then I had a look at how much sugar was in it. A 500ml bottle had 200% of your recommended amount of sugar intake.
So you were basically high then?
Yes, it was incredible. I was like, how can they legally sell this?
Was it fluorescent orange as well? Because I've noticed
Yes.
like foreign felt is like super fluorescent orange.
It was like staring into the sun.
Well, I mean, probably for you, because like you're quite fair-skinned anyway. Like that would be a problem.
That's true. I did get a Fanta tan. So a Fantan.
A Tanta.
A Tanta.
I like that we both picked the either or option at the same time. That was glorious. A glorious dichotomy, Sean, is what we are. Which would be the name of our podcast if we did our own podcast.
Glorious dichotomy. There you are, new podcast coming up for everyone.
A glorious dichotomy with Mike and Sean.
Okay, so we're gonna have to leave it there. Anything else quickly before we go? Anybody got anything before we leave?
Play Oceanhorn. It's a game that's come out on. It was on iOS as like an iPad game, but it's actually really fun. They remastered it and put it out on PS4. I believe it's on Xbox One as well. That's not the full title of it, but I can't remember. It's like Oceanhorn, and then it's really generic, like Sea Monster of the Seven Seas, or some bullshit. But yeah, it's basically Legend of Zelda. Like almost down to like the noises, the music. The music's by Nobu Uematsu, the guy who does most of the Final Fantasy soundtracks. Yeah, it's really, really cool, really fun, and will tide you over until Breath of the Wild comes out.
Cool. Dave or Sean? Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Just at the moment, a band I'm listening to at the moment called Oathbreaker. Their latest album called Rhea came out a few weeks ago on Deathwish Records. Fantastic. If you're into sort of Converge, Death Heaven, sort of atmospheric hardcore with hints of black metal, it's a fantastic band. Definitely, they're doing a European and UK tour in January, so definitely want to check out if you're into that sort of music.
And Sean?
And my recommendation would be Dust and Sand by Sean P. Wallace.
Just formerly serialized on geekpride.co.uk.
I just want to. That is a great book. I've read it. It was.
Okay, thank
it
you.
was. Yeah, it's a fantastic read. I wanted
Did
to
you
read
do the second
one.
one of that, by the way, Sean?
Second one is up to the 4th draft at the moment. I was thinking about serializing it on Geek Pride as well, so that may be something that comes in the next year.
Cool, awesome.
Awesome.
As for myself, I have two things for you. One, you got to try Northern Irish Fanta. You'll know it's different than English Fanta because it's slightly more.
It's actually
slightly more orange, not that yellow color that you get over here. So when you can see it says made in Northern Ireland, so try it out.
Do you know what?
Get some English stuff and some Northern Irish stuff, and I guarantee you.
Do you know what, Matt?
Go back.
Do you know what we should do? Right, anyone who's listening to this podcast, comment below on the thread that this podcast was posted on, and you can enter a competition to get a crate, like a six pack of Northern Irish Fanta
I will
sent
buy,
to you.
I will buy you some and some potato cheese and onion crisps.
Yeah, courtesy of Geek Pride.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah, sounds good. Win some potato cheese and onion crisps.
If you're on,
Irish
if you're on
Fanta.
Twitter, then do the hashtag
Make Matt
Great Again. Yeah.
Make Matt Great Again.
Make Matt great again.
And over the next, so we'll wait for a month, and then we'll just pick a winner at random and send you Northern Irish Fanta.
I'll go to some wholesalers and pick some up for Matt.
Right, hang on, let me actually check Twitter to see if there is already the hashtag Make Matt Great Again, because if there is, then it's going to be a problem. We'll just message some random, congratulations, you've won, and they're like, no, I just want to make Matt great again. He's my cousin. So hang on, Make Matt Great Again. Great, GREATAGAIN. For those of you that are welcome to Spellcast, Make Matt Great Again. There is a problem. Make Matt Great Again has been going for a while. I
can solve it, Matt. I can solve it, Mike. Spell great, GRATE.
Make. That's good. Make Matt. For fuck's sake. Fuck you, Jay. No one invited you, Jay. Make Matt. GRATEAGAIN. Search. Yes. Okay. Hashtag Make Matt GRATE again over the next month, and you can win a 6-pack of Northern Irish Fanta to compare to your apparently inferior English Fanta, or wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we'll do that.
And if you're in Costa Rica, get in touch, because hook me up.
Yeah. That shit is fucking gold.
I'm going to put it in my veins and punch the world.
My final thing I'm going to say before I go.
You're listening to Matt's Final Thoughts.
Matt's final thoughts. If you are
Johnny Johnson, if
Yeah,
you're
I'm
out there.
I
Yeah,
love
sorry.
you.
I love you, man. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. A massive
Johnny
guilt
and
complex.
Jerry.
I just want
Sorry, Matt,
your
sorry.
forgiveness, man. All right?
Jenny.
Actually, I really do. So, Johnny, if you're there, sorry. Man.
Johnny
But then-
Kent, you're still a prick.
When it comes to sort of, it's a challenge. I want you to go out and I want
Make
you to
America great again.
I'm made
Burn
Matt
some-
great again. But
And burn someone's
GRATE.
Christmas.
Yeah, burn somebody's Christmas. Get a book or an article or something that you completely disagree with it, and read it properly. Don't just sort of it like think about it like you would do to something that you would agree with, and then go and read something that you agree with that's similar to it, and then compare and contrast. Because it's a different world when you have to read something and you feel like you disagree with it. It's uncomfortable. You don't like it, but I think it makes you a more rounded person.
Yeah, but when I read the Daily Mail, I then have to go and punch a kitten.
Well, it's different. I wouldn't expect people to read the Daily Mail. I'm just talking about maybe a book or something. So if there's something, there's a view on something you don't agree with. So if you're a religious person, read an atheist book, and then go and read your one of your own books, and vice versa, and do the same. Something like that. Just sort of, I think, learning the uncomfortable truth or learning the uncomfortable view is quite a good thing to do, because it helps you be a more rounded
So, in summation, we should all watch An Inconvenient Truth and just
yes,
and just get on with it.
That's it.
Make,
So,
I reckon. Can I make
that.
a random recommendation along that lines then? Freakonomics, the podcast Freakonomics. It just talks about weird economics and how they affect the world and facts and so on. It's a really interesting podcast.
Sweet.
Cool. Right. So that's it then, gentlemen. Thank you very much for everybody who has been listening or is going to listen. Again,
No one's been listening now, apart from us. So you're thanking us for listening to you.
I'm thanking
You're welcome,
you.
Matt.
Yeah,
Matt, you're welcome.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Not a problem, Matt.
Anytime, mate. Anytime.
Yuri.
Anybody's listening now when we're sort of, it's on iTunes, you can win yourself some Orange Fanta and maybe some Tato Crisps by putting the hashtag Make Matt Great with a GRATE again, and we'll pick you in a month and then win some Orange Fanta, some good stuff, yeah. Okay, so that's it. Good evening, all. I've been Matt Geary.
I've been Mike Orvis.
I've been Sean P. Wallace, whose good books can be found on Amazon.
And I've been David Foy.
Night, y'all.
Bye.